All right, let's talk about Strikeman. This is a laser um, system that you can use to practice shooting your firearm. There's cartridges, and they basically project a laser. You put it into your gun. I was shooting my Taurus G3 Toro optic ready, but I was just using iron sights for now because I'm still mounting the Holosun 507. Anyway, they have rifle cartridges as well. You know, 5.223, 5.56, a slew of different cartridges, both for pistols and rifles. So super nice. So anyway, I wanted to talk about this. This was my first session. Well, I had one session before this, but the Strikeman system has a mobile app. Okay, you load the app. I have an Android phone. You download the Strikeman mobile app onto your phone. But when I first tried to set my very first session that was having problems, there was a bunch of ghost shots. What'll happen is it'll put some shots over here and some shots over here and some over here and some over here. It'll just start going nuts. And so I didn't know what was going on. First, I thought maybe the system was faulty. Do I have to return it? Blah, blah, blah. But as it turns out, if you have too much light, if the light's too bright or if you have light above it, either one of those or both, the mobile app will start just like ghost shotting all by itself. It'll do a lot of it in the corners. You'll get a bunch of ghost shots. You'll have all these set of wherever you shot with the laser in your pistol, in this case, it'll shoot it all over the place. So I got online and did a little bit of research, looked at some common problems and Q&A and all that stuff on the Strikeman site. One of their forums, I think, or something, they talked about this. Hey, if you're having ghost shots that you're not coming from you, it's just happening automatically, randomly happening, it's usually the lighting is wrong. And your lighting in your area is too bright. So I had two incandescent light bulbs, in the room on the ceiling. I took one of them out and I reversed the light to point it in the opposite direction of the room. So instead of two bulbs, one. And the room got a little bit darker and boom, it solved the problem. The only existing problem I have is if I do rapid fire, it won't pick up some of the rapid fire shots. So there's a little bit more fine tuning to do here. Probably the light needs to be, the mobile app won't grab really quick shots. If you do a bunch of succession shots really, really fast, it won't grab those. But I can tell, as I'm looking through the sites where I'm hitting it, so it's not too big of a problem. So this being my first session, I was only 3 yards away. Okay, only 3 yards. So, just standing in the front room in my house. 3 yards equates to 9 feet, so not that far away, obviously. And I was working mostly on form. Now, obviously, when you're shooting the laser system, there's no recoil. Big difference between that and shooting and discharging live ammo, yeah. But still, this really helps with trigger control, big time. And I was being very deliberate. I was kind of on the ball of my feet. I was working on good stance. I'm not a really big person. I'm 5'10". I'm not 6'2", 220. I'm 5'10". We won't even talk about how light I am. I'm usually underweight. I'm not a heavy person. So for me, being a little bit more on the ball of the feet is going to help managing recoil. And maybe I like to stand square, but maybe stagger I'm right-handed, so stagger my right foot back maybe just a touch. All that will help mitigate recoil, especially with more than one shot at a time. That's really where you're having to control recoil and do all that. So I was very deliberate, really slow. Wasn't working on rapid fire. I was just working on getting the gun out of the holster, getting it out in front of my, getting the, I watched Jerry, I think his name is Mechelik. I'm hoping I pronounced his name right, longtime pro pistol shooter, and his daughter, I think her name is Lena. Lena had a really good video, and she's a light person as well, and she talked about all these things that she does. She's won some championships, I believe, some three-gun championships. Her father's got like over 100 championships. So these are people you really want to pay attention to. They've been doing this a long time. So she has a video out there. I think she did for Sportsman Warehouse or something. They sponsor her. Or did. I'm not sure if they still do. I think 6 Hour picked her up now, maybe. Anyways, she talked about some things that she does. Being a little bit more on the ball of her feet. Both her and her father talk about getting the pistol. You don't want to be target oriented. If you're using your eyes, your vision to look at the target downrange, you already got a problem. You want to be, in this case, pistol oriented. Your peripheral vision, if you will, or your sight should be local to your pistol. And she talked about, especially in the beginning, as you're bringing your gun out of your holster, don't sweep it from below. Don't extend your arms out below you and then sweep it up. You want to bring it up towards your face, or at least get it in front of you as quickly as possible. And you want the front of the muzzle to be a little higher than the rear of the gun, especially when you're kind of new to shooting or learning to become a better shooter like I am. And then what that'll do is that front sight will drop down right in front of your dominant eye. So you bring it up, the front of the muzzle is a little high, it drops down right in front of your eye. Of course, you want to bring the gun all the way up, no dipping your head, you're cocking to the side, none of that stuff. They talk about that. Really, really good lesson, really good instruction by them. So I practiced that really slow, nice and easy. And that helped a lot, getting that front sight a little bit higher than the rear of the gun and dropping it right in front of my dominant eye and not being target oriented. You don't have to worry about it. Your muzzle's already pointing towards the target. And once you get that, you're on your way. And then the other thing, of course, was really focusing on my grip, which you're not going to, obviously, when you're firing the Strikeman laser system, you're not having recoil. But I was really focusing on my offhand because I know that offhand I need more work on it. And I was carefully watching the laser. You would shoot it, it would stay on for just like a moment. And you could see if it was like Jerry Mechelik talks about how it noodles after the shot. But even on trigger control, was trying to manage my trigger nice and smooth, right? Even on that, I could see sometimes I wasn't doing a great job, and the laser, the end of the muzzle be moving around a little bit. And the laser will stay on for just like a few moments after you pull the trigger. And if you see it shaking around, it's always going to move a little bit because it's very sensitive. But if it's moving around excessively, you know that you're already, going to be struggling the next shot. And that's a whole nother thing, is talking about not allowing your wrist to break or your elbows to break. You really want the movement to come from your shoulders. And they go into detail about how they do it, almost like driving a pole into the ground. So that has a lot to do with your lats, your muscles in your back, your upper shoulders, your upper back. Of course, your shoulders, your triceps, your pecs are all involved. And you're really trying to just lock that all in. So that only your arms are only going to move up and down from the recoil, not your wrists, not your elbows. So I was just working all that. Obviously, the recoil part is not something you can really do with the laser system, but you still want to practice really good form. So anyway, in front of us, I just, super simple tonight. I just worked on 3 yards away, 9 feet. You can see that most of the shots were pretty good. Some of them got away from me. I had, my average was 9.6 out of 10. 10's right in the middle. This circle right here, which is covered with a bunch of red dots, that's your 10 spot. And you can see most of the time I was either in it or around it, and a few got away from me. The funds that got away from me up in here, this is me practicing left-handed. So I did both, practice two-handed, I practiced right-handed, and then I practiced left-handed. And the left-handed ones literally after like even just 5 shots, I was already getting tired. This was this is without live ammo. So you can just imagine how much work has to be done here, right? Because I'm just starting from scratch here. And that's a good thing. Being honest about where I'm at and all the work that has to be done. Trying to think what else. It was a pretty good first session. I didn't spend a whole lot of time. I kind of just got this all set up, and it was kind of late here. I'm 1 a.m. in the morning, so. Next up is, I got one of my other videos earlier. I put out that one of the screws in my in the Toro G3 optic ready Toro. One of the screws that take off the optic plate is stuck, so I gotta go pick up a little Allen key socket and see if I can get it out. The little Allen key tool they sent me is all bent up and twisted, just putting so much pressure on it. So I'll do that tomorrow. Had a good time. This was about a 10-minute session. Once I get the optics on the Toro, I am going to spend about a half an hour each night. So this was a good introduction. Got over some of the lighting issues. Feeling pretty good about it. I think it's a little bit more fine-tuning adjustment, like I said. May have to be done with the lighting just for it to pick up some rapid firing, but at least we're heading the right direction here. I just have this target sitting on top of a box, a couple boxes. You can see there's a light switch over here up against the wall. And, keeping it super, super inexpensive, nothing fancy here. With the app, you just set it up, you tell it auto calibrate, and then it'll put a big circle on the app, and you have a plus and minus button on your app, and you just zoom in and you get it. You basically try to get this entire thing as much as you can to fill the entire frame of the app. It'll use your camera. It'll figure out which camera you're pointing basically your rearward cameras is looking at the target, and the front side is the app. You're interfacing with the mobile app. All right, I'm kind of getting along in the wind here, talking too much. Great first session. Honestly, from 9 feet, there shouldn't have been one shot outside of the 10. I mean, so this is left-handed. Definitely need some work on the left-handed stuff. And I can tell I need to work on my strength and endurance and all that stuff. So this is going to be great. This is, we're in October of 2024. I'm going to spend the next year basically dry firing every night if I can for at least a half an hour. So I might go to the pro version of Strikeman. I just don't feel like paying for a monthly subscription, but I may do it if it's affordable. I'll look at it again. And kind of in the back of my mind, guys, let me show you one other thing that I'm thinking about doing here. In addition to shooting pistol, I have an AR as well, and I have a range nearby that you can do rifle shooting, but we'll talk about that another time. But let me show you one other thing here. Okay, this is Fulton Armory. They're not the only ones that make this. The M1 carbine, not the M1A, but the M1 carbine. This is shoots a 30 carbine cartridge. Okay, Fulton happens to make it. Fulton Armory makes one. The others make this as well. There's some old stock you can get from back in World War II, but it's kind of hit and miss with those rifles, what you're going to get far as the action. Is it still reliable? All that stuff. Now, this is not a cheap rifle. It's $2,700. But this one's really nice. This is 16.25-inch barrel, which I want. That's like the Scout version. They kind of renamed it here M3. It's basically just an M1. But Scout, the reason why it's called Scout is because the barrel's shorter. Has a flash, I think it's a suppressor. Yeah, flash suppressor. Yeah, A1 flash style suppressor. I like this shorter barrel. Perfect. 15-round magazine. Yeah, I know it's not an AR-15 that shoots the 5.56 or the 223. I already have one of those. Great platform. Not saying it's not. But I really want this rifle, not necessarily this specific one, But I like this idea of the Scout carbine and the 16.25-inch barrel, which the reason why they do 16.25-inch barrels, because anything below 16, you have to get special tax exempt stamp from, I guess the ATF. And it takes a year to get it. You got to wait. I'm not going to go through all that. So a lot of the manufacturers will make the barrel just slightly lower than 16 inches. So you don't have to go through all that. This is a great rifle pickup for putting in my pickup truck. Okay, it's short, it's perfect. It shoots a 30 carbine, which that's more than enough for most situations. This can reach out and touch somebody if necessary, 200-300 yards, no problem. Okay. Hopefully I never have to do that, obviously. But great rifle for the truck. So when I'm jumping in the truck, going about my business here in Texas, I've got my 9mm with me. And in the truck, I'll put a little permanent mount for my carbine. And since it's such a short scout rifle, it'll fit perfect, on the passenger side. I'm not going to put it in the window. In the old days, we used to hang our rifles in the windows. But even in Texas, that's a problem. They see it. They're going to break into your truck. They're going to steal your stuff, even if you just, whatever. Obviously, I'm not going to leave my rifle in my truck overnight. But even if you're just parked somewhere, going inside to the store, you could come out and find out someone's broken into your truck. So better to have it, in such a way that it's not easily seen from outside, right? So I'll work on that. That's going to be a great truck rifle to bring with me. Something easy to carry. Now, it's true that the contemporary AR rifles do have the collapsible stock, which that's nice. The telescoping stock, so you can shorten those rifles as well. So that's another thing I would think about. But I really like this particular cartridge, the 30 carbine. Just a great cartridge. Not quite as much velocity as the 5.56 round, of course, but the muzzle energy is still pretty good. It's about 1,000 foot-pounds, and I think the AR 5.56 is about 1,400 maybe. So it does have a better punch. But like I said, this is going to be a really great rifle. There's one other. Let me show you one other company, and then we'll finish up this video regarding rifles. Okay, this is Springfield, and they have a really nice M1A. Okay, this is not the M1 carbine. This is the M1A. Now, traditionally, this is chambered in, well, basically 308. Okay, it's a much heavier hitting round. So if you think of the M1 Garand way back in the day, it was basically shooting the 308, right? So what I would love to see, and I don't know any manufacturers currently making it, but check this out. So this is the 50th anniversary. We're not really looking at that one. Look at this rifle right here. This is their Springfield Armory's M1A SOCOM. These freaking rifles are so awesome. They are absolutely sweet. Now here's, more of a modern stock, right? It's got the telescopic butt, if you will, whereas this is more traditional with the wood. This is probably a little bit lighter because I got a feeling this is all polymer or whatever it's made out of. And it's a 16, I think it's 16.25-inch barrel. Yeah, see how they do a 16.25-inch barrel here as well. So very similar to the one we looked at before, except chambered in 308. But I love this look. Look, it's got the, I don't want to say fluted, but what's the word I'm looking for here? This is not so much about flash suppressor. This is, it'll come to me. It probably says in here, gas system, blah, blah, blah. Muzzle brake. Yeah, that's a muzzle brake. And this basically will help reduce some recoil the way they do the muzzle brake here. It probably compromises the velocity a little bit of the projectile, the bullet, but that's okay. At these 308s, who cares? It doesn't reduce it by much. But this is a great, I love this platform. I love the 16.25-inch barrel. Both of these look really awesome. That one right there, the black one, is super sweet. This is kind of what I wouldn't mind, is this SOCOM. The other one that would definitely get my interest is the one right below it. And this is called the Scout. Okay. And its only difference really is a couple things. Is first of all, it has the 18-inch barrel instead of 16.25. Okay. And I would also consider this. And the difference with this one is, besides the length of the barrels, you'll notice the wood stock does have the Picatinny rail. Notice that? Let me get my dot size right. But if you look at this one over here, they don't, with this SOCOM, the wooden one doesn't have the Picatinny rail, but this one does. So that's kind of nice. I like that old school look there, even though I have to admit this is kind of cool, and it's probably a little bit lighter. It may be probably a little bit lighter rifle because of it's this kind of, whatever this material is made out of. Also has the muzzle brake, I think, as well here. If I'm not mistaken, that's a muzzle brake. Yeah, also muzzle brake. To help manage, to help tame recoil. Keep having dot problems. So that's kind of nice. These are not cheap either. They're from $1,900 to $2,100. But these are great. Oh my gosh. Either one of those rifles to me just absolutely stands out. The SOCOM or the Scout. Now I would love to see like this setup right here, or even this one with all these features on it. You can also put red dot on there if you want, and you can mount scopes on there if you want. But I would love to see these features in a Scout or SOCOM, but in 308. I mean, not 308, but in 30 carbine, that would be nice. But I don't know anybody that's doing that. And I'm not really sure I want to go shoot 308. I just, that's a little bit, for me, a little bit too much firepower. I want to enjoy shooting. I don't want to wake up the next day with my shoulder hurting. The truth is, I don't know how these would feel in recoil. I've shot a 308 before, a deer rifle, and yeah, for me the recoil was pretty significant. I've shot in 270 Winchester. I think they're 270s for deer hunting. A friend of mine, one of my best friends, his mom, both his father and his mother shoot, and they both deer hunt. Anyway, she has a rifle, 270, really nice, and it has the muzzle. Brake, the muzzle brake, and the gun shoots sweet. The muzzle brake makes a difference. It does reduce the recoil a bit, and I deer hunted with her rifle and really liked it. It was very nice. Shot a couple deer with that rifle of hers. So I'm kind of familiar with how the muzzle brake, reduces the recoil, and I just don't know how much of recoil reduction you're going to get out of a 308. They call it 762 NATO. I guess this shoots 308, 762 NATO. Are they exactly the same? I guess they are. I don't really know if they are. I think those two calibers are the same, but I'm not positive. So I'm going to finish up the video with that. I'm going to keep hunting around to see if I can find something that has kind of these features, I should say, but in 30 carbine, because I'm really itching to get that rifle. That would make a great carry rifle for the pickup truck. And 9.6 out of 10 is my average. Got work to do. Loving this. Going to keep going on this journey, and going to keep on pushing out content and enjoy this journey. This is, guys, I love shooting. I just do. Yes, self-defense, of course. I'm all about 2A and defending yourself and everyday carry and all that stuff. Absolutely. But I just enjoy shooting, man. And I knew a couple years ago that I really wanted to take the time to become a great shooter. So now I'm doing it. It's going to take a little while, but I'm excited over the next year where I'm headed. And I may, depend whether or not my skills get good enough, I may even do some local matches here in Texas. Obviously not anytime soon, but that could potentially happen. And just see how I stack up against other shooters and get my butt whipped and have some fun doing it, and meet some new people and stuff like that. All right, that's it for now. Talk to you all real soon again next time.